things that when we do them, they're going to be better than if it was all a big rush. And also, I just want to carry on progressing with music. Writing more and just learning more about it.
And that included George's study of the sitar with Ravi Shankar.
I asked him to come to India, so he did come. We planned that he would stay in hotel incognito, but somehow it became known. So we had to go to Kashmir and stay in a houseboat. And it was wonderful, really. At that time, his first wife, Pattie, was with him. And I gave him a lot of lessons every day. And he was really enjoying it so much. Also, simultaneously, I gave him a book, Autobiography of an Yogi by Yogananda. And my brother Rajendra gave him the book of Vivekananda on Raja Yoga. And these two things, I think, had tremendous effect on George. He immediately started reading these and got so interested in our religion and philosophy. Everything had effect, and he made a number of records which you know, which was very much influenced by Indian music and Indian tradition and religion, everything.
We were talking about the space between us and the people who hide themselves behind no wall of illusion. Never glimpse the truth when it's far too late, when they pass away. We were talking about the lovely overture when we find it, to try our best to hold it back. With our love, we could save the world if they only
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band was infused with the spirit of the summer of 1967, and George's track, on which no other Beatles were heard, articulated the quest for spiritual enlightenment by looking to the East.
When I first noticed that I was interested in this, with the music first of all, I think, and along with that I'd heard stories of people in caves, yogis as they're known, people levitating and dematerializing and doing all sorts of wondrous things. And then through the music, with meeting Ravi, it was great because he's a Brahmin, which is a sort of high sect, and just all the groovy people are Brahmins, like the scientists and religious people and musicians and all that. And I'd like to become this myself, I'd just like to have this quality that these people have, which is a spiritual thing. And I think with us having all the material wealth that we need, then, the average person feels that if they had a car and a telly and a house, and that's where it's at. But if you get a car and a telly and a house and even, a lot of money, your life's still empty because it's still all on this gross level. And what we need isn't material, it's spiritual. We need sort of some other form of peace and happiness.
Beatles producer George Martin was well placed to observe the remarkable development of the group, who, in under 4 years, had progressed from She Loves You to Within You Without You. And certainly by the time of the Sgt. Pepper sessions, George Harrison's songs and ideas were given more consideration by John and Paul.
to begin with. He was tolerated by the other two because he was the kid and he was sort of brought along on sufferance, so to speak. But at the same time, both George and Ringo were tremendous influences on Paul and John. And George in particular is the one he's the kind of lock nut of the whole thing. And he was always a tremendous help in supporting the other two egos. I mean, when you think about it, the four egos, amazing they ever did really do anything, because they're all very strong people. And George's nature and that of his kind of mysticism helped too, because he had that almost saint-like quality of really being someone who would work with the other two. And he got a bit fed up because his own music wasn't recognised by me as well. I mean, I was guilty too. I took the easy way out and took the two geniuses and left the third genius to stew in his own mind. And he put up with it with remarkable equanimity. He was a great character.
Look at the world, and I notice it's turning, while my guitar gently weeps. Every mistake we must surely be learning. Still my guitar gently weeps.
While My Guitar Gently Weeps was one of the highlights of the Beatles' 1968 White Album, but the record's long and difficult gestation had almost torn the group apart.
We were splitting up for years before that, since we left touring, really. The worst time, I think, was the White Album. Although it was a good album and we made it through those sessions, during those sessions, it was a very difficult period. Also, it was a double album. It went on forever. And that was when the rot started setting in, really. Being together for so long, one of the problems became that we pigeonholed each other. We had preconceived ideas of what each other was, and we limited each other too much. You know, everybody suffered in some way by, you know, I mean, we were together so long, like from when I was 13. We got a little stagnant by all those years just playing the four of us together. And it was hard to get anybody else to play with us. Nobody else wanted an outsider coming in. You know, that happened once when I did Guitar Gently Weeps with Eric. I asked Eric to come and play on the session, and he was saying, no, I can't come, you know, nobody's ever played on Beatle records. The others won't like it. And I said, it doesn't matter, it's my song.
After taking the solo on While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Eric Clapton gave George the Les Paul he'd played, and their close friendship at this time was a crucial element in George's further musical development.
When I studied with Ravi for a little while playing the sitar, and in many ways I was hopeless, and in other ways it was just fantastic. But what I learned after that, because I was at a period where I knew I wasn't going to become a sitar player, but I did love the instrument and the music and sincerely want to try and learn more about it. But Ravi was the one who was more worried for me than I was, and he was the one who said to me, you know, trying to find my background or some roots. And he was saying, what about Liverpool? I said, no, Liverpool, man, you know. I mean, I feel more at home in Benares in India than I do in Liverpool. And then I thought, because this gets back to Elvis, what's my roots? So from then I went from Los Angeles, where I was with Ravi with my sitar, went to New York. And from then I thought, well, maybe I'm better off to get back into being a pop singer, guitar player, songwriter, whatever I'm supposed to be, because
when we find it, to try our best to hold it back with our love.